If I could recommend to you the 7 books that could change your life, what would those be? Welcome back, everyone, to An Ordinary Search for Truth. My name is Nate, and today I'll be going over the 7 books that have most influenced me and my spiritual growth. I definitely have my favorite, but I picked 7 because everyone is so different. Maybe one of these other books will impact you more greatly than the others, in the same way that this first one impacted me. So the first book I'd like to share with you is The Nature of Consciousness by Rupert Spira. Essays on the Unity of Mind and Matter. Now, this book obviously has been through a lot, and I've marked up many of these pages. If you are interested in the study of consciousness, of awareness, of self, of the universe, of reality, this book will change your life. Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I've read it, and every single time that I do, I gain a deeper and deeper understanding of the things that Rupert Spira is trying to communicate in this book. And it's not super thick. It's not going to be a crazy read for you. I think there's about 200 pages, and absolutely worth every second of the read. The thing that I love about Rupert Spira and the way that he writes is he's very matter of fact, very just this is how it is, and doesn't involve himself in really any spiritual practices or these are the steps that you have to do in order to become enlightened. He's basically just talking about consciousness very openly and plainly, and it's really easy to understand as opposed to some texts that you might run into. So I highly recommend this book for those reasons. And if you want to watch him discuss consciousness and reality, definitely look him up on YouTube. He's got many, many videos that you can find about all sorts of different topics and different avenues to look at consciousness to try and understand it. The second book I would like to recommend to you is SelfKnowledge, The King of Secrets by Ted Schmidt. It's along the same lines of The Nature of Consciousness, but Ted Schmidt goes from a more Hindu perspective. And I, being fascinated in the Hindu religion and spirituality, really loved this book because, again, it's talking about the self or consciousness, but goes through it from a Hindu point of view and helps you understand a lot of what the Hindu religion is trying to say about consciousness, using Sanskrit words and describing them. He's got a full glossary of the Sanskrit words that he uses and does it in a different way. It's definitely a little bit thicker and a little bit longer, but also an excellent read. So if you're more interested in that avenue, definitely check that out. The third book that I would like to show you is How to Attain Enlightenment, The Vision of Nonduality by James Swartz. Can't tell you how many times I had to edit that name out until I could pronounce it correctly. Something about James Schwartz is really hard to do. The thing that I really loved about this book is it is a little bit more categorized and step by step as far as what is enlightenment and what are some things that you can do to help get to it. For example, I'll just go through the table of contents. So he goes through inquiry into object happiness. What is enlightenment? The means of knowledge, qualifications, the self, obstructions, inquiry into karma and dharma, inquiry into practice, love, the assimilation of experience, lifestyle, knowledge yoga, meditation, after and beyond enlightenment, the teachings of Ramana Maharshi, and Neo Advaita. So a lot of different avenues and things that he chooses to explore in this book. So if you want a very well-rounded and well-grounded view of enlightenment, and not just in one particular tradition, but from many different points of view, I definitely would recommend this book to you to read. The fourth book is written by someone who I also have liked to watch on YouTube by the name of Mooji. And this particular book is Vaster Than Sky, Greater Than Space. A lot of these authors have written multiple books. This just happens to be the one that I ran into first. And the thing that I like about Mooji is just simply the way that he speaks and the way that he writes is very unique. He came from a more Christian background, and so he refers to ultimate reality a lot of times as God, and uses a lot of things that I think that people coming from a Christian background might relate to the way he talks about things a little bit better than others. He has a very childlike and almost humor to him, which is very engaging when reading and watching him. He's always got kind of a twinkle in his eye that I really enjoy. He focuses a lot on realizing the nothingness that everything is, as well as how to attain truth through the heart. So, a very heartfelt man, and I highly recommend not only reading his writings, but also watching him on YouTube. The fifth book that I would like to share with you is a bit more well known in the spiritual spheres, I think. I've seen it on several other channels recommended, and I would definitely recommend it as well. It is this book here, Remember, Be Here Now. A very, very unique text. And the thing I really liked about this book is it's almost like a children's picture book, kind of. So a lot of these pages have illustrations, and the words just kind of flow around the illustrations, and with the words, visually, the message is communicated in a very, very unique way. I have read it many times, and each time I notice new things, either in the pictures or the way that the text is laid out, or in the very simple, direct text itself, that I don't really know how to explain it. It kind of puts you into this state of openness and wonder that a lot of other books don't really put you into. A lot of other books are more intellectually read and definitely feel that way. But this, for some reason, speaks to the heart. And I love that. It connects to a part of you that you may not know is even there. But I guarantee you, if you give it a chance and read through it, if you're ready for it, it has a good chance of changing your life as well. The sixth book out of the seven is What is Consciousness? Three Sages Look Behind the Veil. This is a collection of essays written definitely more intellectually, scientifically. So if your mind is more geared toward an analytical, academic kind of understanding, then I highly recommend this book, because these three authors of these essays approach consciousness from a very matter-of-fact and kind of scientific way, trying to understand what is consciousness from a scientific point of view. And they're definitely very open about the way that they go about this. Let me just read you the titles of these essays. The first is Consciousness is the Quantum Field of the Cosmos. The second, Consciousness is Eternal, Infinite, and One, a summing up. And the last, Consciousness is Mind Beyond Space and Time, the New Paradigm. Highly recommend. It's a very short read. It's really skinny, but also worth every page. Definitely pay attention while you read it. In the back, they also have quite a large notes section and a bibliography of the author's works. So again, if you're more academically minded, this would be a good place to go to get started into consciousness work and self-inquiry, and give you a lot of different sources to go to continue that research. And the last book that I'll recommend is a very unique book, something that definitely plays to one of my interests, which is called Dreaming Yourself Awake by Alan Wallace. So this book is all about lucid dreaming and Tibetan dream yoga. And I originally came across this book while doing a research paper in college, trying to look at comparisons between Tibetan dream yoga and the more Western kind of lucid dreaming scene. I've always been fascinated by dreams and their reality and what dreams can tell us about our waking reality. A dream is kind of an altered state of consciousness, and in daily life, we typically don't experience these altered states of consciousness unless we're active practicers of meditation or doing some sort of psychedelics, various things like that. However, dreaming we all experience, and we experience it every day. So I've always been fascinated by how organic dreaming as an altered state of consciousness is, and by extension, astral projection. So if you want to learn how to use your dreams as an altered state of consciousness to help discover things about yourself and about reality itself, then I would highly recommend this book. It definitely contains a lot of practices and things that can help you become a lucid dreamer, practices that can help you have more vivid dreams and raise your awareness not only in the dream state but also in your waking experience. So, a very interesting read. If you're interested in that, definitely check this book out. So, that's all 7 of them. Like I said, I have my favorites, but you definitely can explore all of them on your own and see which books touched you in different ways and gave you insights that perhaps they didn't give me. We are all on our own journey, so maybe you won't like any of these books and your path is completely different. But all 7 of these greatly impacted my life and springboarded me into higher levels of understanding and awareness than before I read them. So definitely give them a look if you're interested in self-transformation and growth or the study of consciousness. As always, thank you so much for watching. Hit me a like if you enjoy what I'm doing here, and subscribe if you want to be notified for later videos. Feel free to comment down below. I love hearing from you and responding to you. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.